What is the square root of -1? Now, you mathematicians would say this is a false equation, and there is no answer, since you can never get a negative number by multiplying two numbers together. If you multiply two negative numbers together, you will not get a negative number. So there is no way in hell you can get -1 by multiplying anything by itself, by squaring any number on that number line to get -1. So many mathematicians say, oh, the answer to this is irrational. It's an irrational number. And an irrational number is any number that you cannot print down in tangible form so that you can see it and understand it for what it is. Thanks to this video right here, where this man, he did a math problem, and after he did his problem and solved it the way he did, it didn't take me too long, but now I found the answer to what the square root of -1 is. And this is oh so fascinating. Ain't math fascinating? The square root of -1. The way I solved this, using the way he solved his problem in his video. You need to check his video out. It's really fascinating. What times itself can equal -1? Well. The square root of 1 is 1, but the square root of 1 is also -1. Do you get it? The square root of 1 is plus or minus 1. X equals the square root of -1. The short answer is x equals 1 to the power of 1/2. And now I'm going to show you how this entity, you multiply this entity by itself. I didn't say the square root of 1 times the square root of 1. I said 1 to the power of 1/2 squared. It can't equal -1. I know. 1 to the power of 1/2 is the same thing as the square root of 1. But the simplest way to put it, what is the square root of -1? 1 to the power of 1/2 times 1 to the power of 1/2 can equal -1. Now how is this possible? Have you figured it out yet? Okay. 1 to the power of 1/2. Another way of saying this is the square root of 1 to the power of 1 times the square root of 1 to the power of 1. The square root of 1 is 1. To the power of 1 is 1. But this same entity, keep in mind, we got to multiply the entity by itself. If you multiply the square root of 1 times the square root of 1, you will not get -1. But if you multiply if you multiply 1 to the power of 1/2 times 1 to the power of 1/2, as I was saying, the square root of 1 is 1, to the power of 1 is 1, times the square root of 1, this time, make it equal -1, because -1 times -1 is 1. -1 to the power of 1 is -1. So 1 times -1 is -1. Do you get it? The square root of -1 is not some irrational number that you can't put down in tangible form. The square root of -1 is not a bogus equation. It's not a trash equation. The real solution to the square root of -1, if you have to multiply an entity by itself, if you have to square a single entity to get the end result, 1 to the power of 1/2 times 1 to the power of 1/2 theoretically can equal -1. Again, I would say, just in case you didn't get it, 1 to the power of 1/2 times 1 to the power of 1/2. 1 to the power of 1/2, of course, is 1. But 1 to the power of 1/2 can also equal -1. And when you multiply 1 times -1, you get -1. That's what you call thinking outside the box in math. And I suppose you think I got A's in math. I passed with a D. In fact, my teacher asked me to take trigonometry algebra 3 the year after I had passed it with a D, but he wanted me to learn some more learn this trig. So he had me take it again. And of course I passed. I forget the second time around. Pooh! I think I passed it with a low C. Hey, out of the mouths of the babes. But so I'm gonna run this by my cousin. He's a math genius. He got A's, high A's in his math. He knows calculus. I'm gonna send this video to my cousin Paul and see what he has to say. I'd like to send this to Math Queen. Hello, my lovely Math Queen. Hello, my lovelies.
Hello, my lovelies. It's Susanna.
The square root of -1. The short answer, x equals 1 to the power of 1. Damn, that's what you call thinking outside the box. But I always said, you're never going to put me in a box of conventionality. The only time you're going to put my honey in a box is when I'm dead, and that box is the coffin. That you're going to bury me 6 feet underground. And the only reason you're going to do that because I'll be dead and I'm able to say, hell no, you ain't putting me in that damn box. Do you get the picture? I just had a thought. The square root of -1, perhaps it is an irrational number. But at least we know. I used to see that and wonder what in the hell irrational number could it be that you could multiply it by itself and get -1. Now that's an irrational number. But now we know that what the irrational number is that you multiply by itself to get -1. And that number is an expression. But since the number is an expression, that makes it irrational. And that expression is 1 to the power of 1/2. And you see the math underneath it. So 1/2. No shit. 1 to the power of 1/2 times itself irrationally becomes -1. Now that's irrational. Now that's irrational. And finally, it's all rational.